combat with him. But when he was in combat there, I was slugging in the mud with people from the 100th Division, 399th Infantry, a heavy weapons machine gunner with the Browning water-cooled machine gun. That's where I got frostbite, feeding antifreeze into my Browning water-cooled machine gun, and carrying the 56-pound bronze tripod, which is the job of the #1 gunner. Only trouble is it was too heavy. 50-odd pounds for the barrel without the water in it. But that was a marvelous shooting gun. You could put 3 shots at these triple tongues with your left hand, just trying to pull your finger off the trigger. You put 3 shots at a dinner plate at 600 meters. Now that's shooting. It's like through the eye of a needle. But the only people I've ever killed or might have killed were wearing the opposite uniform. And I never had any interest in teenagers. They were just not interesting, but boring.
Now, Christine Rothschild was stabbed 14 times. Do you have any idea what would compel a person to stab a person 14 times?
Well, maybe she refused some boy back in high school and something, and he took it out on her. Sounds like that's an act of rage. You really have to have some personal relations to say 1 or 2 stabs, but 14, my God, that's just like an act of rage, wouldn't you say? You don't have to be a PhD in psychology to figure that one.
She also had her gloves shoved down her throat. I was wondering
what?
She had her gloves shoved down her throat. I was wondering if you had any opinions about that.
Her gloves?
That's right.
Hand gloves?
That's right. Yes.
That's bizarre. What is that supposed to mean? That she talks too much, or tells people the wrong thing, or expose him? Well, I could have said that maybe she had an aborted sexual venture with a guy, and she made fun of him, and so he's, or else maybe he couldn't get an erection at the proper moment. I don't know. You could run wild with your imagination on that one. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. One of the hypotheses that I proposed is that maybe she was begging for her life when she was being murdered, and that was a little bit overwhelming for the murderer. So it was actually like, an act of rage within that act of rage.
I don't think so. I think begging for a life, this is symbolism I think you take too far. I don't think that's it. I think we have somebody here who's got it in for women, and maybe she further antagonize him somehow. I don't know. I never met the girl, and what she looks like. I never met Miss Shoko, or if that's her maiden name, I don't know. It's probably her married name. So I have no idea. I never studied criminal law. My mom was a professor of zoology at the University of Copenhagen. My dad was a physics student who had another Nils as a classmate at the University of Copenhagen, namely Nils Bohr. I've seen some of my dad's archives. To Nils from Nils. And I originally spoke in King's English because that's what my mother spoke. But anyway, my dad changed his major, physics, to medicine, and shipped across the country, stopping briefly to see my Uncle Sophus, who was a professor of engineering at Man Arbor, one of the founders of the American Concrete Institute.
Okay.
And then they went to the Parnassus Street Medical Center at the University of California, San Francisco. That's how I got here, before I was born.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm a second generation Berkeleyiter, otherwise known as Berserkly.